Chris, let me tell you, man, we are here at the Night in White. It is a phenomenal opportunity, it is a phenomenal message.
Oh, yeah.
And when you walk upstairs to have so many amazing individuals that are willing to give back, have you felt the energy from anybody else, like when you met Royal Kai?
Oh, he came in. Oh, well, it's always him, actually.
I'm telling you, it's no joke. The energy we felt, we connected upstairs at this amazing event. And I have to tell you, the audience of the Live Your Dreams podcast, you are going to get to meet an individual that lives spirituality, that believes in giving to others. Please welcome Royal Kai to the Live Your Dreams podcast.
Awesome. Aloha, gentlemen. Wow, this is an honor to be here. And it's so amazing to truly share my story because one thing, you don't know me, but I love God. And I'm not talking about the religious concept of God. I'm talking about spirituality, the universe, the divine, the word, and the oneness. And I'm only alive by the grace of a beautiful, amazing, merciful universe and God, because there was a time when I was so broken as a man that I was drinking, I was drugging, I was running away from these things that I experienced not only in my childhood, but because of firefighting. I was a wildland firefighter on a helicopter attack crew for over a decade. And so we traveled around the country, fighting fires, hopping out of helicopters. And so what happens is when we go into fight or flight situations consistently, it changes our neurochemistry and our baseline. So then we have a big neural gap. And so we need substances or dopamine to get back into that.
Sure.
So that's why people, it's like, why are they doing that? I couldn't stop. And so in 2017, I had a near-death experience in NDE, and I literally nearly died in a fatal motorcycle accident.
Oh, wow.
And my body was in this bloody, mangled mess, and my soul left my body. I went to heaven. Heaven's real. God is real.
Yeah.
And it was the most amazing thing I've ever experienced. And I made a deal with God, and I said, if you save me from this bloody, mangled mess, I will do whatever you tell me to do. I'm your man. But you have to teach me how to live, and you have to teach me how to be, because I'm not going back to earth, because it's crazy. It's crazy. I want to go there. No.
Yeah.
And they made a deal with them. And
When you open your heart and accepted the kind of message that's out there, and you were more open to being open to spirituality, be it God or whatever it is for the viewers listening, when you said, I want to be that better person, accept kindness, accept soul into my life, did you notice a physical change in your life when that started happening?
yeah, a physical change. It was when I truly surrendered myself, because I'm a strong guy. You know, I come from a wrestling background. State champion wrestler when I was younger, firefighting, cage fighting. So I can do it myself. I'm the toughest. I'm the strongest because I grew up in Wyoming. The Wild West, cowboy country, right? And so I adopted this perspective that I had to do it all myself, and I had to be tough. And if I was kind, I would be taken advantage of, and they caused so much pain and suffering into my life. And so what I teach my clients is when we can get into elevated emotions, what actually happens is called epigenetics. And so through epigenetics, we can literally upregulate our genetic expression so we can heal ourselves. We can literally flood our bodies with chemicals that are for repair, regrowth, rebuilding. And that's what it's about in my book. It is natural. We are natural pharmacies. And so I was in the hospital for only 2 weeks. And what happened? Well, I hit a cement barrier going 30 miles an hour without a helmet head first. Hit it.
Blessing your life,
really. It was a drunk. I was drunk as a skunk, bro. And I went to go get a pizza. I was in corporate finance at the time, and my thinking was, money will solve all my problems. Money is everything. And so it busted my jaw in half. My jaw ripped from my skull on the left side. My entire right side of my face was completely shattered and caved in. I had massive internal bleeding, my brain, my kidney, my spleen, 3 shattered ribs, a shattered scapula, a broken arm, 2 fractures, and 3 torn ligaments. And I was massively hemorrhaging from my right eye socket. My head was tilted in such a way where I was about to asphyxiate in my own blood and die, because it was going into my... I was on the pavement. And I prayed to God. I said, please save me. I know there has to be something here. I don't want to die. Please, I don't want to die. And I left. And so I was only in the hospital for 2 weeks, and I was working out 3 months later. The complete medical community was as astonished.
How the hell are you doing it? That's impossible.
And I said, I figured it out. Like, I know how we can heal and empower ourselves. And so our physiology follows our psychology, right? So if we're feeling down, if we're feeling depressed, and we have to move our physiology, get our body moving, so then we can have positive psychology. So it's an inverse relationship.
Like emotion type of thing.
Yep.
Yeah, I love what you said too about the ego. I heard another phrase, it's easing God out. Like how you went from money only to now, let me help people.
Yeah.
I get the benefit of following my internal.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, Chris, because for some of our listeners and most listeners listening, I love the beginning of your story too, Royal, because what you said was you were a firefighter, you were a tough guy, you were a cage fighter, you were a wrestler. Now, for our listeners out there at the beginning, you had a near-death experience. It changed your life.
Yeah.
For those who sit there and say, you know what, I hear this, it may not be for me. How do people that are kind of in that world, they're drugging, they're drinking, they're not waking up completely yet, but they're open. They're saying, you know, I kind of hear this. What's the first step you would tell a client and say, you know what, how do you start going down this path without that kind of lightning bolt that has you down it? Just for the average person, how do you start walking down the path?
Entirely. Thank you for that question. So before I get into that response, a lot of people, they don't want to actually admit what's going on in their life. So in our society, especially as men in America, it's like, hey, let me sweep it under the rug. I can't feel my feelings or emotions. It's not safe. And so, you know, it's what they taught us, and it's causing a lot of suicide, depression, anxiety, substance abuse. And so what I tell my clients is for us to change the situation that we're in. If we're drinking, if we're drugging, like something's wrong. We're disconnected. When we're young kids and we're full of excitement, joy, and happiness, we're drinking, but something happens.
Yeah.
Boom. And it gets us out of alignment and gets us out of our heart. So the first thing is, I used to be a professional photographer. So I'd travel around doing photography shoots for resorts and all kinds of stuff. And the thing is we have to understand the lens through which we view the world. Because if we have judgment, criticism, greed, fear, whatever it is, wherever we go on the earth, we're with ourselves. It doesn't matter how much money we have in the bank. It doesn't matter what job we have. It doesn't matter what materialistic possessions we have, because we cannot escape the prison of our own mind and soul. And so what we have to do is like, okay, what is the perspective that I'm viewing the world in? It's disempowerment, it's anger, it's greed. So the first thing is identifying how we view the world and how we view ourselves. What are our beliefs? Because the beliefs are just really repetitive thoughts that have become behaviors and habits. And then being open, right? I'm open for something else, because you know what? My life isn't working out that great. Something's missing. I feel like I'm disconnected. I feel that like the American dream, the standard American dream, substances, anxiety, and depression.
Yeah, happy hour.
Come and distract yourself. Come and literally drink poison and get disconnected so you can numb yourself out entirely. So the conscious awareness, understanding, and a willingness, because if you're not willing, nothing's going to happen. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to do anything for you. We have responsibility. When I woke up in the hospital and I realized that God had saved my life, I'm like, okay, yeah, right. Yeah, this is my fault, 100%. I said, I'm going to accept responsibility and accountability. And I had one of two decisions. One, continue down the path of pain and destruction and wreckage and anger for the world and the religion and all the things that happened to me. Or I could accept responsibility and accountability and say, you know what? I'm going to use this as my rocket fuel, and I'm going to teach people how to heal and how to become empowered and how to live amazing lives and show that miracles are real and that God is real. And that's where it's at.
Well, Jesus taught us to do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It started there.
Yeah.
To carry the message.
He's a spiritual gangster.
Yeah, he is.
He's a spiritual gangster. You want to be a gangster? You completely surrender your life to a power higher than yourself, and you say, okay, I'm open. Show me something. Like, show me some magic, and stuff will happen, but you better be ready, because if you are serious, things will start changing in your life. That's how I left Hawaii. I've been in Hawaii for the past 3.5 years. I was great. I was in paradise.
Yeah.
I finished my book, and God's like, ready to go?
Move around.
I was like, no, bro. I don't want to leave my island. I don't want to leave like where I'm at.
Yeah.
And so I bought a one-way ticket. I didn't know where I was moving. I didn't know where I was going, except for Miami for the Grant Cardone 10X stages for my story, to share my story, and the book was done. God said, don't get a rental, don't get housing. And I'm like, wait, you want me to move halfway across the world with like no plan? Like, and just trust you? I'm like, sure, let's go. Let's do it. Because we build our faith and we build resiliency. And as we surrender, that's where things can happen and it flows. When we're extremely rigid, the structure cannot move. Yeah. So it's in this amorphous, like, okay, I'm kind of in a chrysalis, and I'm not sure, I'm not the caterpillar, but I'm not the butterfly, but I'm in the flow. And that's where the magic happens.
You're absolutely right. It's that flow and the willingness to jump in and be a part of that flow. Because I think we hold ourselves back. Imagine chrysalis. You're not the, you're the caterpillar, not the butterfly. So many of us make our own shells and cocoons around us and say, I'm not going to willing to actually make any kind of change. I'm going to put myself in there. Nothing different's going to happen. It's going to be the same thing time after time again. Yeah. It's very scary. Do you find some clients that you meet actually go through that time after time?
Yeah. Yeah, it's cold as the door. Yeah.
Good sound.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. So, what I have to, asking you.
You find where you have the clients, will they sometimes say to you, look, Royal, for me, I'm stuck in this cocoon. I'm not getting out of there. Do you find they have a lot of resistance to come out, or do they actually want to break through? What do you see with your clients?
The clients that I work with, I do a screening process before it. I'm not, in the beginning, I used to drag people, come on, there's a better way, there's a better way. No, if you're not committed, if you are not wanting to have a guide take you down a path and say, hey, are you done with your own personal hell? Yeah. The cocoon maybe you created, or society, or your parents, or religion, or school, or whatever it is, because I'm here for you, but I'm not going to be dragging you. You have to put in the work. And of course, there's a little bit of resistance as we're building our muscles, for instance, right? Or sports, we're training, we're literally ripping the muscle fibers apart so that they can get stronger. So growth is extremely uncomfortable. It sucks. It's terrible. The unknown. You're like, I don't know what's going to happen. But once we connect to our higher self, and once we start learning about God or Jesus, right? Because Jesus, basically opened the portal for us to be able to accept, ourselves, our divinity.
The unique figure of God. Otherwise, what I try to interpret it is God, the air. Yeah. It's in everything. It's all around us. Yeah. God is everything.
Yeah. Everything. Yeah.
You're doing in creating this change based on a circumstance that could have easily been the end of your life. It could have been, you could have taken the easy path to, look, I got in this accident. I'm going to continue down this path. It was a stroke of luck, a roll of the dice. I'm back. Don't worry about it. I'm going back to drinking, going back to doing my thing. You took the positive change. Now, Royal, for our listeners, because please.
Yeah, well, one thing. So once the accident happened, this is where the real test started, because I had alcohol in my system. The insurance company said, hey, bud, here's a $500,000 medical bill. My insurance denied everything. I was married at the time. I went through divorce. I went through bankruptcy, my near-death experience. My corporate finance firm at the time said, hey, we're going to keep you on. They showed up to my house as soon as I could walk, and they said, we're going to take you to lunch. And they showed up and they said, nah, just kidding, bro. We're firing you. Like that. Yeah, I was like, whoa, savage. But what had happened was, when we get into environments where we're really bright, we're shining, we have the favor of God, it really illuminates people's demons and their insecurities. And so as we're in an area or a situation where it's creating a polarization, I came in, I was like, hey, this is what we can do to help the company and boost the revenue. And we'll do this marketing. Started a marketing committee with the CFO and the CEOs, and they got pissed because they were there for years. Who's this guy coming in, right? And so it even got deeper. And so bankruptcy, divorce, the overdose, that was in 2010. All these things. And I was miserable. I was in so much pain. And I was like, I created this. I created my own hell. Nobody else did. And it takes a legend to be able to say, I did this. This is my fault. But with the help of God, anything can happen. I don't care what you've gone through. I don't care what you've experienced. I don't care where you're at in your life. If you make a decisive decision and action, and you take one step forward and the next step and the next step, things will start changing over time, and you can live the life of your dreams, right? That's all I go by. There's no amount of materialism, money, drinking, drugs, women, that will fulfill the hole that's inside of us. That's meant for God and our mission. So that's what I help people, is reconnect with themselves and God, with God leading the way.
You are beautiful. There's no other way to put it. I'm telling you, you are a beautiful individual. You are phenomenal. I'm so lucky to have met you. Yeah. Now, we are here again talking about giving back at the beautiful Night in White event. Royal Kai, 10Xing our lives, the Grant Cardone Foundation, what he is doing to give back to at-risk youth is phenomenal. And we're definitely going to have Royal back on the show. Let's talk about everything you're doing. Now, Royal, for our listeners, where can we learn more about you? Because you're going to see him in another episode, but if you have websites where they can talk about your book, anything about yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much. So you can go to miraclemanjourney.com, learn a little bit more about me. You can purchase the book from Amazon. My link on the website is there. Facebook, the Royal Kai, Instagram, the Royal Kai. If you're looking for somebody that's wanting, if you're needing an inspirational message or a motivational message, or you're looking to empower your team or your company, That's what I help people out with. I'm really increasing the communication, and so I'm here to help.
Yeah, I think we're all looking for that. Yeah, absolutely. And Royal, I hope you don't mind. I'd love to put links to your books in our description below on his website. This is a phenomenal individual. I'm telling you, this event, again, what Grant Cardone has made, and again, you were inspired to go to Miami for Grant Cardone. What Grant and what he's doing in the Grant Cardone Foundation is phenomenal. This Night in White event is something so special. And Royal Kai, I am so humbled. To me, you really, man, you're just your energy. You're a beautiful man. Your story is amazing, really, man.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I knew I had to be here. And me and my friend Lisa, we've literally been traveling across the country. I met in Miami.
Yeah.
I was staying with friends for a month and a half.
Yeah.
Then somebody invited me to Kansas City to BTBY, which is Becoming the Better You.
Okay.
Connected with Kevin Harrington, Brian T. Adams.
Yeah.
I'm doing all that stuff. And then, like, hey, we're coming over here. This event's going on. We're meeting with our buddy here that was at House of Representatives. And like, all these amazing things are happening. I'm not even doing it. That's the thing. It doesn't have to be hard.
No.
Like, I gotta go out and I gotta go and do it. It's like, yeah, that's old school, bro. That's 3D. We're in the 5D. Like, the rocket ship's rough, and you need to stay in 3D, or you want to grow and go to 5D. Well, don't surrender. The magic happens.
One thing I heard also is that God will steer the boat, but you have to do the rowing. We got it.
And sometimes, like, man, this is
1,000%. I'm telling you, from the Night in White, Grant Cardone Foundation, the Live Your Dreams podcast, Royal Kai, descriptions in the link below. The Royal Kai, make sure to look him up. Thank you, brother. You are an inspiration. Thank you so much.
Yeah.